Hey you guys, it's Teresa and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my October TBR, and for those wondering where my September wrap-up is going to be, it'll be coming in next week because your girl barely finished writing her reviews to like yesterday, so yeah. But let's just kind of get into it because it's not the most ambitious TBR that I've had. I think that's set for June, but it is an ambitious TBR, so let's just get into it. The first two books that I have already started to read before filming this video is, well, the first one is Dr. Sleep by Stephen King. I recently read The Shining in preparation for the release of Dr. Sleep in November. And if you guys don't know, The Shining essentially follows this family, like Jack Torrance, Wendy Torrance, and their son Danny Torrance, as they are stuck in this very haunted hotel. And The Shining is something that Danny, the son, is the only one who's able to do it, which is like see into people's heads and like the ghosts and have contact with them and whatnot. And the sequel follows Danny as he's all grown up and realizes that it is now his time to mentor another young girl with The Shining who is being sought after from this weird cult called the True Knot. Yes, the True Knot. And yeah, I'm about halfway through this book, which is surprising considering like this book is about like the normal Stephen King size, which is like 600 pages long, but I'm enjoying it so far. I think that Stephen King has a way of writing, especially like younger children. He has just a magical way of writing them, and I love reading things through their eyes. And I love seeing where Danny is after all these years and seeing how he's overcome some of the demons that he has kind of gone through, as well as the demons that like genetically have been passed down to him. So I will update you guys at the end of the month what I thought of this book, but I'm excited to finish it as well as see the movie come November. The next book that I'm already in the process of reading, and I started this today, is another reread of The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. I believe this is the Barnes & Noble Classics edition with like all this pretty picture and the green sprayed edges. If you guys don't know or haven't heard me talk about this book, which you'll hear me talk about this book in the next video, this essentially, in the next like few videos actually, this essentially follows Dorian Gray as he gets his painting, he gets his portrait painted by this very well-known painter named Basil. I haven't decided how to pronounce that yet, and he realizes that he wants to stay young forever and sells his soul so that way any sin that he commits, his painting will become older and more decrepit looking while he remains younger. I have read this book several times now. I have 2 different editions. I'm hoping to add one to my collection sometime soon. And I am also in the middle of filming a reading vlog where I talk about how my annotating process is happening, how that's going to work out for me. And since I started it, I've already started to annotate a couple of pages. I'm only like 2 chapters in, so it's not a ton of annotations yet. But I'm excited. I haven't been annotating books in years, so it's nice that I found like a way to do it. And hopefully it'll show when I show you guys the reading vlog come whenever I finish this book. Or like in a week or something, I don't know. I haven't decided. If I finish the book and do a reading vlog, I'll probably end up splitting it up into like part 1 and part 2, or week 1 and week 2. But until I figure that out, we're just gonna go with it. The next book that I have on my TBR is one that I've mentioned not quite frequently, but fairly enough, and that is Estrada by Miguel Sujico. I'm a bad Filipino. This is a Filipino written. The author is Filipino, and this story follows Miguel as his mentor. As his mentor Crispin is pulled out of the Hudson River. It is assumed it is a suicide, but Miguel thinks otherwise, so he travels back to Manila to not only get to the bottom of what is going on with what happened with his mentor, but also find this missing final manuscript that his mentor was supposedly writing. I haven't heard a ton about this book, primarily because it is like a Filipino-based author. I believe it is also translated from Tagalog, so we'll see how. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. But yeah, it's considered one of like the main like Filipino literary masterpieces out there. It's already won a Man Asian Literary Prize Award in 2008. So I'm excited to dive into this and see kind of what's going on. There are some mixed reviews on it, but it's just weird because like I have another video coming up, but Filipinos seem to really like writing thrillers or fantasies. So I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm hoping that it kind of It's a little on the older side, so I'm hoping it's not too dated, but still it's like a Filipino novel, and I can't go wrong with supporting some Filipinos that are writing out there, because it's a struggle to find them. So the next book is actually a YA book, and it's a YA thriller mystery book, and that is Truly Devious by Maureen Johnson. This is the first book to the Truly Devious, I believe, trilogy. I have heard a lot of good things about this book. I like me a good thriller. I haven't read a lot of good YA thrillers, so I'm excited to read this, but essentially, what Truly Devious is that this school, I forgot its name, is very elite. You go there if you have a particular thing to study. So our main character is very intrigued in true crime. So she spends most of her semester or year here figuring out this murder that happened within the school, where the headmaster's daughter was killed, and all that was left was a note saying that was signed by Truly Devious. So like I said, I'm super excited. I know that the sequel is already out, but I wanted to wait until this came out in paperback because I'm just that kind of person. So I will let you guys know how I like this book when that happens. I might do a review on it because even though it has been out for some time, I don't do a lot of thriller reviews on my channel. It's primarily been contemporary and fantasy. So I think this might be the book that I'm going to choose, but we will see. I have a couple more kind of like, well, aside from Estrada and like other things, I do have a couple of other books that I want to see if I can get a review out for it, but we'll see where the month takes us. Or if you guys have a preference, leave those down below because your girl's indecisive. The next book is another thriller, and that's an adult thriller, and that is You by Carolyn Kepnes. This is a now popular Netflix TV show, as you can clearly tell by the cover. I couldn't find the one that didn't allude to the actual TV show. But this follows Joe, who is a bookseller, and one day this girl walks into the bookstore and he falls head over heels for her. This is essentially a thriller following the perspective of the serial killer, and it is told in second person. So when you walk into the bookstore, I saw you and I fell in love with you. I couldn't help but listen to your conversation, that kind of stuff, and I feel like that concept is already pretty creepy because I watched the TV show because I had no idea it was a book until then, and I fell in love with the concept of writing it from that specific standpoint and that perspective. So I'm excited to dive into this. I have heard the first book is really good, but the sequel isn't that great, so we'll have to see. We will have to see how I feel. The next book is another kind of reread. I haven't read this since like middle school, and I recently got an edition of it that I'm really in love with, and I have no idea because I got it used. And that is A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. This is a play, clearly, and it also has a bunch of illustrations. It's illustrated by Arthur Rackham. I hauled this during a haul. I think it was my summer haul. I forgot, which edition is this one? It's distributed by Outlet Book Company, and this is this is a pretty old book. This book was published in 1990. If you guys don't know, A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare essentially follows this random collection of people who bump into each other in the forest, and there are fairies involved, and it's just a lot of mischief and mayhem. Like I said, I haven't read this since middle school. So I literally have like the Mickey Mouse version of events, quite literally, because there is a Mickey Mouse like short or movie on this, but I have no other knowledge on it. So I'm excited to pick this up and reread it / read it again for the first time and see my thoughts on it. I've always loved A Midsummer Night's Dream, so I am hoping that now in adulthood I will also enjoy it. But I seem to have a habit of picking up the Shakespeare plays that work really well on the stage and not really on paper. Like I have Romeo and Juliet, I have this one, and I really want to pick up King Lear, but you know, struggles. Almost done. The second to last book on my TBR is Dracula by Bram Stoker. This is the Barnes & Noble Classics edition. It's not the leather-bound one, it's paperback, as you can tell. Thinking about it, I really have no idea what this book is about. Like, I know the basis is that it just follows Count Dracula. However, I believe, oh, here we go. I will just read the synopsis because I didn't know this. So Dracula begins with a young solicitor, Jonathan Harker, on his way to Transylvania to meet Count Dracula, who is buying property in London. Harker endures a nightmarish stay at Dracula's castle, which foreshadows some bizarre events in England. First, a huge wolf-like creature is seen to leap from the deck of a Russian ship which has run aground to the shores of Whitby, its captain dead and at the helm of its crew mysteriously absent. And then Lucy, a friend of Harker's fiancée Mina, develops a strange wasting disease and red marks on her throat. Vampire expert Professor Von Helsing convinces Harker and his friends that if Mina is not to share the same fate as poor undead Lucy, Dracula must be caught and ritually killed. Well, that sounds a lot more interesting than I thought it was going to be. I don't know what I thought Dracula was initially supposed to be. Definitely not that. I think it's definitely following a little closer to like that Van Helsing movie with Hugh Jackman and Kate Beckinsale. But I will have to pick this up. I've never read Dracula, and I love me a good gothic lit novel, as you guys can tell by my unnatural love for Dorian Gray. So, we'll see. You guys will have my review when that comes out. And finally, the last book in my TBR isn't so much a spooky read or like a thriller or a classic or like something of that. It's actually a young adult anthology, and that's because like I'm planning on reading this one at the end of the month to give my brain a little bit of a breather from all of like that mess that is in the pile on the floor that I'm gesturing to, and that is Meet Cute. This is a short story collection with a bunch of various authors such as I believe Evie's the boy's in here. No, she is there. Yeah, Evie's the boy's in this one. We have Nicola Yoon, Sarah Shepard, Julie Murphy, Jennifer L. Armtrout, Nina LaCour, just to start. Essentially, this is what it says. It's a meet cute. There are a bunch of short stories where people meet for the first time and fall in love. It sounds really cute, and it's right up the alley for cuffing season, which I probably shouldn't be reading because I am single, but I digress. So yes, I will be reading this. I'll probably cry because it sounds really cute, and I haven't read a short story like collection or anthology since the one with Carmen Maria Machado, which is what is it? Where did I put it? On the Her Body and Other Parties. Her Body and Other Parties. There we go. I just had to scroll through like 3 different shelves for it. It's fine. But yeah, I'm excited to read this. I heard a lot about this when it was like coming out, like in the process of being produced for the masses, but I didn't hear a lot about it afterward. So this is me figuring out if I'm gonna like it, which should be a fun time. But that is it for my October TBR. Kind of spooky, kind of not, lots of thrillers. So I'm excited to pick these up. I'm already like, I got out of my reading slump last month by doing my by rereading, so I'm feeling really good about these books, you guys. So if you guys have any books, like I said in the video, that you guys want me to do a review on or maybe like currently reading on, please let me know. I will try to fit them in as much as I can, but you never know with how life plans itself out. So like I said, I do have some, like I have a inclination to go to some of these books in terms of like reviews and currently reading, but if you have one preference over the other, let me know and I will go ahead and do that. But until next time, I will talk to you guys in the comments and all over social media. So until then, I hope you guys are having a wonderful week so far, but if not, then I hope it gets better, and I'll see you guys on Sunday with a new video. Bye!